And there's
Yay.
even some of the administrators pretending to be crowd, which usually means it's not that popular. Let's see if these guys can make some noise, because they have been pretending to make some noise, but maybe they can do better this time when I'm introducing from Lowland Lions. It's Mel. Wyman, do you think your introduction is going to make them shout louder? Go ahead,
Who
Wyman.
knows? Because in the top left, we have the Swedish player all the way from, well, Sweden. From Team ATThisGameSuck. He's the blue Zerk in the top left. Is TGS. Moderately disappointing.
It's acceptable. I think it makes
Yes.
sense that during a Dutch StarCraft League, most people are rooting for the Dutch guy. That's acceptable, and he has been showing us some great games. But so
Yeah.
is the guy from Sweden, taken to the fact that he has to make a long trip here and has really devoted a lot of time in it. We can't take anything away from this guy.
I honestly think that's one of the most beautiful things of esports, that suddenly, because a 14-year-old kid is really good at playing a video game, he gets to go to another country to play and get sponsored by some corporation, some team, to play and show off his skills in front of a crowd with, nationwide attention broadcasted on the internet. When you think about it, it's really incredible.
Well, the most beautiful thing would be 4 years older and female, probably, but close.
Yeah, sure. So we have a gateway expander coming up for Melle, with the in-base gateway and in-base final being, of course, a very clear giveaway of that. The question is, how is TGS going to respond? Well, he went with the straight up 14 pool, and will soon be taking his natural as an expansion. And from there, all these players are relatively close, so hopefully for TGS, he won't be expanding towards his opponent, because as a Zerg, that's something you don't really want to do.
Yeah, we already see two assimilators coming up, and the gateway means the cybernetics core will follow it up not too shortly after that. I'm gonna see some aggression here, I think, and it's a big map. How is he gonna make that work? I'm wondering.
Well, first of all, I don't think it's going to be one base aggression. It's usually you'll see the Protoss put 2 probes in each assimilator, like he's doing now, and just use that to get an early mothership core out, and then just get a nexus and then throw up 4 gates. I mean, 3 additional gates just the time with the time of warp gate is finished. Of course, TGS gets a good scout up here with his Overlord, so that's really good. But yeah, how's he going to perform that attack? Well, mostly the standard procedure is still the same. You get a proxy fire on the warp and stuff and you kill him.
Yeah, I could also start to be aggressive with a little bit like a two zealots or a zealot and a stalker. Try to make something
Yeah.
happen, especially when the mothership core enters the fray as well. It can be a little bit annoying for the Zerg to hold off. Of course, you are delaying your expansion when they're doing this as a Protoss player, which is an interesting choice on a map like Whirlwind.
Yes.
I haven't seen the Zerg going for Turpers, and I don't expect him to after the opening that Mel did here.
Well, usually when they go for a quick third, like they did in the previous game, they will skip gas.
Yep.
Whereas TGS this game has opted to go for a rather quick assimilator. I do expect him to, just go for link speed and just kind of leave it at that. You do kind of need link speed in order to do efficient counterattacks as a Zerg, because slow roaches, slow links, it's just not going to cut it.
No, I get why Mel decided to do this build. He did it to kill the bricks right here.
Oh, yeah.
Brilliant.
Great point. Okay, so the next is already on the way from Mel. You have Zealot and Mothership Core moving out, but the Sentry being followed by it. So I don't expect a whole lot of aggression out of Melle here.
No, I like this. He's making a few Zerglings, but just enough to get some map vision, know what's going up in front of the base, know what's going down, and make sure that there's no proxy fight on some really weird locations, and be safe, That's
This
how
is
you
your
have
link.
to play.
He spots the timing of the Nexus and the gateways at the front. If TGS has adequately prepared and he's familiar with this build, you should be able to identify the 4-gate pressure. I am saying 4-gate pressure, but it looks like it's going to be 3 gates, and he might not even pressure in the first place, Maybe this was just more of a way to stay safe on a map like Whirlwind, where Zergs do sometimes tend to 6-pull.
Yep, we see that speed for the Zerglings is around halfway done, and he is going to send an Overlord in to the main base to make sure there's not more than 3 gateways. And I think he's going to feel quite safe behind this, with speed already done. Safe enough to take maybe a third base, but he could also pressure himself with some roaches, because he is adding a roach farm.
Of course, he's playing safe, but there's a trade-off to that, The trade-off to this, in this case, he's getting more gas, and he's staying on 2 base. But that will also cripple his ability to, grow his economy even further, more explosive, which is, of course, what Zergs are really good at. He's only got 2 hatcheries, so the amount of larvae per minute is limited, especially when you compare it to 3 hatcheries. And it seems like, Melle, he's just doing his very comfortable Gateway expands into Phoenix to establish map control. And I do expect to see a RoboBay from him not too far ahead of this.
Yeah, but looks like for a Swedish player, it is going to be just adding another third base, getting some Zerglings out with speed, confirming that there's nothing really strange going on. But he won't see these Phoenixes coming out though, and that could pose a little bit of trouble. He doesn't really have anything against the anti-air. He did make a roach for him to make sure that he doesn't get overwhelmed by anything. I'm wondering how he's going to react to this though.
Yeah. This is with Phoenix is obviously hallucinated because the Overlords aren't taking any damage from it. What I do like here is that Melle is getting +1, so this indicates to me that there's a very clear timing ahead of him, because you don't just get +1 at any random time as a Zerg. But he's kind of staying defensive, you know. He's trying to hide his Phoenixes, maybe try to pick off any forward units. He hasn't. Okay, I think this is more like a patrol pattern for these Phoenixes to try to pick off any Overlords, but. So far, the plan here for Melle is not that clear. He's adding on 2 gas, so he probably will be adding on more heavier tech roaches, more heavier tech units. Whereas, of course, you know, TGS is sort of trying to catch up in the economy because he's been on 2 base all the while as well.
Nice transfusion on the Overlord, by the way, saving that for a little bit, but also doing a lot of damage to these Phoenixes.
Yeah.
Being really defensive, but still also very good with those units. Even if it's only an Overlord, you can do more damage to those Phoenixes. It's always worth it. And so far, not a lot of damage has been done, actually. He does confirm the fact that there is going to be a third base for the Protoss. Did lose some Zerglings getting in there, but not the biggest deal.
So TGS right now, he has to make a decision. What kind of unit composition am I going to go into? Am I going to take a 4th? And am I going to go Munos? It's pretty clear it's going to be Roach Hydra, though, because he's got Roach Speed just started, and his Hydra Gen is already finished. As well as the Groove Spines upgrade for his Hydralisk. So it's going to be Roach Hydra mostly from his part, and I don't see a Spire for him on the way yet. So these Phoenixes, they're just going to be used for map control rather than actual fighting so far. But they do complement usually the Protoss army with Colossus and Sentries and Immortals quite well.
Yep, and it looks like there's going to be a really quick hive here, actually, after the fact that he's starting to make some Hydras. The Hydras will be used defensively against these.
Another Queen getting picked off, though.
A lot of units being picked off, even some Overlords and drones falling to the aggression from these Phoenixes being ever so annoying with them. But why does he have Overlords here? I don't get that, though. He should have been rallying them to the Spore Crawlers a while back.
I'm even more curious as to what's taking him so long to make a couple of Hydras. Of course, you want to have a certain amount of those before you go out and actually fight the Phoenixes. But a lot of things here have suffered for TGS. His creep spread is not that great. His saturation on the bases is good, but he's still, you know, on 3 bases without a macro hatch, and he's now finally starting his Hydra production as well as most of his upgrades. Whereas Melle is, of course, already comfortably on 3 bases on equal economy, and he's already making the composition that he really wants to have in this game.
One of the things to note, though, is that Melle never took the gas geysers in his third base, which will hamper the gas income a little bit, which I find very curious at this point. He is starting to add on Colossus, and Colossus are, of course, very powerful against the Hydra Roach composition. But keep in mind that with the Hive coming early, as you can see in the production tab right now, Vipers are going to be coming out. And with the Vipers, you can start putting those units in, and that's going to be very interesting for us as casters to watch.
Yeah, because in the previous games, we usually saw Zerg decide to go for Corruptors to counter Phoenix. Colossi. Of course, Corruptors do counter Phoenixes, by the way. But yeah, going Vipers rather than the Corruptor is an interesting choice. And you know, it takes more of an investment. It takes more risk to go into Hive quickly because the pros can punish that. And yeah, we do have Vipers now out on the way, and they're recharging their energy. And we might see a very nice timing here from TGS, even though looking at the upgrades, we only see like a +2 missile attack and no armor on his Roaches or Hydras.
Yep, +2 missile attack, but the Protoss upgrades, last time I checked, were 1-0. Now they're 1-1, and that's not that great either. I mean, that's quite even in upgrades once the 2-0 finishes. With the fact that there's a lot of Roaches on the way right now. It is being scouted by the Phoenixes. But I don't know if he has enough to actually stop that. Because if he drags in the Colossus, there's not a lot to kill these Hydras and these Roaches. This could be a very sweet timing from DSCL.
I was just thinking for a second, of course, it's not possible. What if, instead of, if he drags the Colossus into the Roaches and then with his Phoenixes, he's going to actually pick up Vipers here. Is he going to? No, he loses all of the Phoenixes. He doesn't get any of the Vipers. Huge player by TGS managing to save all of his Vipers.
Yep, keeps the Vipers alive, and they're gonna be the secret weapon of this attack. So we're gonna see how that goes.
Oh,
He's a,
this is such an interesting fortification here by Melle. I'm not sure if
yeah.
TGS realizes how he needs to handle this. Just kind of firing at this, but now the Colossi get into range of his roaches. Two of them, one with the
Oh,
Mothership Core, one with the Colossus. I think he's got enough energy for another one. One Colossus actually manages to get away, and it's still not dead. He hallucinates the Colossus, seeing that there's no Overseer here, and it looks like Zerk just has so much stuff that Melle is not going to be able to hold on.
yeah, but looks like GGS is pulling through this, and a very good job with the Vipers, with the way he positioned his army and took that fight. It looks like the Swedish Circus really hit a sweet timing with this attack. And I gotta say, I did not expect this. Melle was looking so good all game, but right now this attack is looking like it might actually take him out, and that would even up the scores. It's not all over yet though. Colossus on the way, Voidra on the way. Do you think he can still get back into this game?
It's very hard from this point, you know. We have another Colossus on the field. We have a second one almost finished. We have +2 attack almost finished here for the Protoss, whereas the Zerk is also on +2 attack, but not on armor. So he might be able to turtle in his base effectively,
Yeah,
but
but
he's going to be pretty behind if he decides to do that for too long. And TGS actually making swarm hosts.
and there's also a line of probes. I think they're the
Oh
last
wow!
survivors of a big fight that happened somewhere close hit to here. It looks like TGS is gonna go ahead and push in, and I don't see any way back for Mel, to be honest. It's 100 supply against maxed out supply, and it looks
Yoink!
like
There goes the Colossus. GG, grats.
yeah, put your hands together for TGS.
TGS takes this game, and looks like we're tied 1-1.
Yep, it's gonna be 1-1 indeed, and that brings us to an ace match.
An
And the
ace
winner of
match.
that will be playing against Harston.
Two very worthy opponents so far in these games. That timing here by TGS, managing to save his Vipers from those Phoenixes, was absolutely crucial to winning that game. If he had lost his Phoenixes there, that whole attack would have probably amounted to nothing with all the force fields that were available for the Protoss.
Yep, definitely.
Wow.
Well, the last game will be on Network Precinct. Interesting map choice.
Yeah, I agree. It's
It's a map I haven't seen that much of today, to be honest.
no. I'm just trying to think. Like Zerg really like to go swarm hosts on this map, especially late game, and just kind of turtle where the Zerg has to take like the most cost inefficient trades possible. So I do expect Melle here to have a severe, a really big plan here for his opponent.
Yep, maybe he practiced the build against Zerg on this map. I don't know, but we're gonna find out together as this game will start up pretty soon.
Yeah. Sorry, I have a bit of a cold in it. If anyone managed and noticed that, probably don't.
Yeah,
But yeah, we're gonna go into this game into the game hard lobby, so our admin can set up the game for our players, and until they indicate that they are ready. I think this is such a great, addition to to StarCraft 2, especially from a competitive point of view.
yeah. Game hard is a great way of looking at it. Just makes it more entertaining for the viewers, right?
Yeah, I mean the interface is great. The options for admins are great. We can set countdowns. Players can set their logos. We can set our logos. And unfortunately for AT Gaming, there is no logo for him available in the game. I'm afraid, but we'll just see. All right. So just waiting here for the ready up from Melle, and then we're gonna head straight into this game. Any thoughts?
Oh, well, my thoughts are with StarCraft and with the Dutch StarCraft League, but after seeing these two games, could go either way. And I guess we're going to have to let the crowd decide who they want to win. As I introduce for the last time in this series from Lowland Lions, it is Melle.
And in the bottom left, we have the Blue Zerg from Team AT Masters. It's a Swedish. This game suck. Kind of hard, tough poll to be honest.
It is a tough poll, and I think it's fair to say that these players have been performing admirably
Yeah.
this whole series, so should be good.
I mean, they were very straightforward games. It's like player one, played a certain style with a certain timing and strategy in mind, and it just worked. So what kind of if they're both playing with that same determinism in this game, what are we going to see?
One thing to notice, Jeroen, since I've been casting the Dutch StarCraft League since this morning, don't think I've seen one actual really bad cheese. What about you?
Well, no, we had Darko Micron versus. He took one game off Red, where he started with a pylon and a gateway in his natural, denying the fastest fan for as long as possible, and ended up taking that game, but taking it to the long game. So, yeah, actual cheeses? Not really.
I think I'm gonna have to make a sign for the grand finals when I'm sitting in the crowd with "We Demand Cheese" because we've had not much of that. But
Yeah,
it's also good to see that these guys are very confident in taking each other out in the macro game. That does show a lot about their skill as well. I mean, if you're
exactly.
confident in a situation like that, you think you can beat that guy.
Yeah, a lot of players will refer to some cheeses as coin flips, sort of giving that the indication that the player who performs it really doesn't have much of a chance in a straight up game. But this tournament, that's certainly not the case. We do have the. Is this the Nexus first? Yep, it is from Melle. Oh,
There
he's
we
actually
go.
trying to block the expansion as well, and doesn't manage to block it with the Swelling Pool almost finishing there in the natural. And yeah, Nexus already on their way.
Yep. Forge after that. I don't know if we're gonna see some links trying to get into the base, but I don't think so. Gateway on the way as well, and a pylon after that. Once again, looking almost the same as last game. On this map, though, I mean, with some overlords, you will always see the air units coming from your opponent's base if you send them through the obvious paths, and it's quite easy to control the middle with some swarm hosts, like you mentioned.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
something that's very popular on this map. I'm guessing that ATG could actually go for that, and I'm wondering
Whoa.
how Melle is going to respond to that.
Looking at the third of TGS, he really wants to take that quite early, and he does.
Yep, he does.
But it does get scouted by Melle, and this is of course probably in the response, to the Nexus first expand of Melle after after this overloading and the natural of Melle managed to scout it. So yeah, it's seen both players in pretty good economic shape so far, and the decision really is which player will decide to hit the timing or be aggressive first.
Yep, I don't know about that, but so far I like to play from both players. I mean, this is a map where you can expand quite early on and get away with it. And I think right now that ATS is doing the right thing by taking a third base so early because it's quite easily defended if you keep the units around here and you creep spread a little bit. You should be safe against anything on the ground. And if you put a few overlords around this spot, you should see any air forces incoming and respond to it.
Yeah, I mean, there's pretty much only one way from your opponent to attack you, which is either from the air, which is the second way, and the first way is of course straight, by the watchtower.
Yeah, by the watchtower.
And yeah, otherwise your opponent will have to detour, and of course that's an option to take. But if you maintain a bit of map control in this map, it's very hard to not see an attack from your opponent coming.
And that's what Zergs like. You know, they like to respond to attacks from their opponents when they see it coming. And on a map like this, it's really easy. But enough about the map. Let's go back to the game. And so far, I really expected it as well. I see a Stargate once again from
We see
Mel.
the Stargate once again here from Melle, almost his signature strategy so far in PvZ, I have to say.
Yep.
Has there been a single game where we haven't seen Melle this tournament go for a Stargate build in the mid game? I don't think there has, actually. And clearly he feels very comfortable with it. And this time he's also getting quite an early +1 attack on his fort, so he might see a very nice Void Race +1 Zealot timing here from him.
Yep, we might. It looks like this time he's not overstaying with the Zealot and the Stalker. He did poke in a little bit. Shot one Zergling, intimidating a little bit, hopefully forcing some units, but he did not.
Yep,
No
just
overreaction
drones.
from our Swedish player, just drones. And that's the response you should do something like that. He is chasing it with the links, but not much will happen.
Yep. One Ling here being taken out in the middle of the map. Melle now has map control, and he already has a proxy pylon here underway, right in the middle of the map, near the fancy looking DSCL logo. So yeah, Void round the way, gateway almost, warp gate almost finished. +1 still needs more than a minute and a half to finish, but wow, we're definitely going to see a big timing coming here out of Melle. And the gates actually get spotted by the Overlord of TGS in the main. Very important pickup here by him, and he's gonna see warp gates finishing. He's gonna have to defend. And what's the correct unit to make here? Well, it's not really links because as we saw in the previous game, +1 zealots are really good against those. And Zergling's speed has not even finished.
Yep, Void Race and Zealot is probably what we're gonna see a lot, like we saw already once from Melle, and that was the first game, right, when he managed to win with that.
Yeah.
And
So
that
many links though.
so many links, and that was the problem. There was not enough units hitting the Void Race, and the queens went down to the zealots. So let's hope for a Swedish player we don't see an extra version of that. Looks like he is making extra queens this time around, also adding spore fellows once again. But this battle is commencing, and the zealots are actually ripping through those zerglings.
Oh, such a
not
smart
much.
move, just bypassing the third, knowing that those queens have a long time to get up there. There's no link speed. There's no spines here at the natural world. There was one, but it's taken out right now. And now the fight here is commencing. And he's actually, is he going to try and make his way into the main? No, he's trying to split his forces, slicing up all of these links, but having a much harder time against the roaches here at the top of the ramp.
Yeah, having a hard time, but still trading decently against them. I don't know where the Void Rays are right now. Did they get taken out?
No, one is still alive, but it has almost. Oh, there it goes. Queen's managed to take it out at the natural.
Now, there we go.
But yeah, the roaches here are doing a very good job actually at cleaning up, and there's no Void Ray support. So it kind of looks like that. Is TGS going to hold on?
I think so. It looks like it right now. The Void Rays got taken out, the Zealots got denied, and not that much damage has been done. If we go to the unit step right now, he's ahead in drones. He's got a lot of roaches and zerglings out. I don't think this was worth it for Mel, and I think he realized that taking a third base, this attack is definitely over.
Yeah, he's taking a third base, but he's still warping in units at the front, which kind of surprises me. And yeah, we see more links. Roach is still scouring around the thirds, trying to be defensive. Still a few in production now. Upgrades is all for them on the way. And actually, 6 overlords were produced at the same time. And that's usually an indicator that the Zerg wants to mass up and go for a big attack.
Yep, that is an indicator. And we see counterattack by some links, might deny this third base. While these zealots are once again trying to do some damage, but these queens are being microed quite effectively here. No transfusion goes down. These void rays might go down once again, being retreated right. But so much damage, and this third base did get cancelled. He's even trying to poke in the front. Not gonna do that though. More and more zealots, and this is a lot of zealots right now, Jeroen.
Yeah, there is actually quite a lot. And but one of the more important factors of damages though in these fights are the void rays, because they're kind of untouchable except for by the queens and the hydras, which have now started to pop out. Zealots are once again trying to slice up roaches. But yeah, there's just too much Zerg really.
Yeah, there are a lot of Zerg units still in the fray here, and we see that 2 void rays are retreating, and once again this gets repelled. But this time he did lose his third base that was constructing in the meanwhile, so not the best trade for Mel once again.
No.
You see the supply is still acceptable, but I think in the long run he's gonna lose if he continues.
He's in a dire position, I would say. He's warped in an additional warp gate at his wall in order to defend. And he's now once again reinforcing, this time adding on a mothership core, a couple more void rays. He's up to 4 void rays at this point. Worker count is not that far from each other, but you know, 3 base versus 2 base. It's not looking too good for Melle in terms of economy.
Nope, it's not, and I think this is gonna be once again an attack that he tries to take the Swedish guy down, but I don't know.
He doesn't
He's
have enough
still on
force
2
fields, though.
bases.
These Hydras are the main threat actually, because their DPS is just so incredibly high with the +1 attack. And they're quite effective, of course, against the Void Rays as well. So how is Melle going to micro this? He needs to take this fight, but can he even win in the first place?
He's not gonna win this. Those Zealots are doing a good job slicing through the Zerglings, but they're all gone before they even get to the Hydras, and the Void Rays are just melting at this point. He knows he has to retreat. His tournament life in the DSCL is on the line right here, and the Void Rays are getting taken down. And congratulations to our Swedish player.
Indeed. TGS with an excellent defense here. Identified his opponent's attack right when he had to with the Overlord Scout. Knew that the gateway pressure was coming and adequately defended with spores, queens, and roaches. It was a long fight, but still, the TGS came out on top.
He did indeed. I don't know what's going on the main cast right now. I don't know if the guys there returned. We will get the information on that soon.
We'll see.
I hope you guys enjoyed the games between Mel and our Swedish player.
Yeah.
This game suck. You can follow me at Midodin and this guy.
Wyman on Twitter if you care about that stuff.
There we go. And we're
I
gonna
only
find.
plug that once per tournament though, so I've already expended my cards.
There you go. You don't spam. That's good. We're gonna go into a short break and then we'll let you know if we have another game for you on this stream.
Yep. See you soon.
Hello guys, welcome back to the DSCL. I hope you guys are excited. I know that the team league is going on the main stage, but maybe you want to stick around here because we are going to have this game suck against Fnatic's Hearthstone and
Oh
see
yeah.
who is going to duke it out against Red.
Exactly. The winner of this match will go into the finals. The other one is gonna have to satisfy himself with third place, if I'm not, if I'm not wrong here. And well, map's gonna be Newkirk Precinct. Pretty interesting map here for a CVP, to be honest. We saw Melle go down against TGS on this map in the previous game. So the question is Hearthstone gonna be able to fare any better?
Yep, that's going to be the question. Hearthstone, of course, one of the favorites of this tournament, and I think also the favorite of this match. But this game suck from Sweden has made the trip worth it so far.
Oh yeah,
Already
definitely.
ending at least third, but could also take down Hearthstone, and who knows what he could do against Red.
Yep, it's he's gonna have to prove his worth, of course, first in this game on Nuclear Precinct. Everyone here has said that they are ready, and once everyone has pressed the ready button, we can start this game. There we go. The countdown has started. It's gonna be Hearthstone versus TGS.
Yep, I hope these guys are ready because this should be entertaining. First up, on the bottom right corner, it is going to be this game suck.
All right. Left from Team Fnatic. He's the only one Dutch player left in the lower bracket, looking to finish off against Red in the next round. He is Hearthstone.
Well, it's clear who the fan favorite is, since only one guy got applause in the player lobby here. Uh, Harstem, of course, one of the Dutch players. I know one of the German guys in the public also clapped just because he is Protoss, but that makes sense. We're gonna see what their strategy will be. Forge Fast Expand for Harstem looks like it. I think we're gonna just see a macro game once again, Drew.
Yeah, I really think Hearthstone is going to have to go into this game with a particular plan. We saw that Melle did earlier, and it didn't quite work out, unfortunately, for him. But then again, going late game against Zerg on this map as Protoss, it's just really hard, you know? So I would almost say this is. Well, they vetoed their map, so he knew that he was going to have this map, have to play it at some point. But yeah, what does he have in mind against a Zerg opponent here who has proven to be just so good against Protoss? I don't think TGS has had to play against a lot of Zergs in the first place.
Yep, well, I don't know about that, but Harstem is getting an early scout and hasn't thrown down anything as of yet, has he? Is he gonna go for Nexus first? I don't know.
Well, looking at the supply, he definitely should. Or he might just throw out. No, all the props are still in the main. So he will be going here for the Nexus first, for that
Yeah.
macro build. He has a particular plan in mind, and it involves the Nexus first. We can say that for sure. Meanwhile, TGS thrown down the spawning pool, and I expect to see a drone hang the way of his natural very soon. We can start his hatchery there and take his first expansion. But Harstem is already ahead of him with his probe. He's going to start trying to block that for as long as possible.
Yeah, but that is a pretty big ramp, Jeroen. I was thinking about that when I saw the minerals go up and the supply staying the same. If he runs in some Zerglings right now, he's gonna have to make a force wall up, right? He can't just wall it in time, I think.
Yeah, this is a pretty tough map here to wall off on. And actually, speaking of placing buildings in obscuring
Yeah.
locations, he's managed to throw down a pylon here in the expansion of TGS, who's not opting quite yet to just take his third instead. The question is why is Harstem doing this? He is not canceling the pylon actually, which I think is a very interesting move. He's now trying to fight with the drone, and the question is here: what does TGS do? Of course, he's going to make Zerglings. He wants to kill this pylon. And the forge is not really going to finish in time for Fnatic Hearthstone to throw, to build any cannons there in order to be a real nuisance. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, if he sent the links right away, he could have pressured the wall with it and be a little bit annoying, but it would have also forced like at least an extra building that he had to cancel later on. But he's just gonna opt to take out this pylon and then move the Zerglings after that. So I think Harshem is gonna be fine. Actually takes quite an early game lead with that, I would say.
yeah, and he's going to spot the fact that TGS wants to go for a third because that drone, it's not there to sunbathe, you know. And we have a pause here from Hearthstone. I'm not sure what the issue is. Um, Basically, like any issue or any pause we've seen so far in the tournament, I don't expect this to take long at all. You know, this whole thing has been very, very smooth, I have to say, and I expect this to be resolved quite quickly.
Yep, and that pylon actually losing that supply blocked Harstem. Surprised by that. I see that right now, but he is gonna finish that Nexus quite early, so should be no problem after all.
Not at all.
Yeah, two hatcheries on the way. So yeah, looks very macro heavy so far. And Harstem is going to resume this game right now.
Indeed, we are going to resume this game very well right now. Um, Keep in mind though that TGS has got a very good scout off of his opponent's natural. He saw the Nexus first with the Overlord. His cannon is going to chase it away once it finishes though, and I don't really expect these links to do a whole lot. Just one going to give chase to make sure that the probe doesn't go back into the main to drop the proxy pylon somewhere.
Yep, he's gonna take the middle watchtowers with the other Zerglings. Make sure he has that map control. Bless your health, Jeroen, as you are a little bit ill, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure if anyone really noticed it, but we'll be fine in this cast. Let's just focus on the game for now. TGS has definitely taken map control. He's got links everywhere. He's got overlords in perfect position to get a good scout off of his opponents. And yeah, third hatchery on the way for TGS. But you can definitely see that his mining is really not what he wanted it to be.
Nope, it is not so far. And Simon_, just finishing up for Harstem. And he's also already mining gas. So I don't know which way he wants to go right now, but we're gonna find out pretty soon, I think. And
It's building a building somewhere, I think. I just
no,
saw him drop 100 gas. Oh, that's going to be the mothership core.
yeah, the mothership core is on the way, and he can start scouting, poking in a little bit with that, with only the
and the
queens.
+1. So once again, an early +1. Well, not really once again. We saw Melle do it earlier, but the early +1 along with the mothership core gathering up energy. I really do expect Harstem to be going here for a nice 2-base timing here to try to overwhelm his opponent before TGS has managed to get a decent army out. Because keep in mind, he hasn't mined any gas so far. He's only just finished up 2 assimilators and his natural. I mean, 2 extractors, and he's just started to farm up some gas. And he has, started building his roach warren. So if he identifies the threat from Harstem soon enough, he should be fine. But hold on, Harstem is building a third nexus.
Yeah, we've got a road run coming up, and one of the things I want to note is that right now Harstem's actually ahead in probe count and throw down a third base. So in the macro game, he's right now winning very heavily because it's not just been ahead in probe for a while; he's been ahead for a very long time. Looks like there's going to be some defensive structures on the way in the lair as well. I don't think he's actually going to build many roaches. He's just going to use it as a backup plan. But why does he have so few drones right now, Wyman?
Well, it's mostly because he didn't have his second hatchery as quick as he wanted to. This meant that the amount of larvae that you could generate with injects was really limited to a single hatchery. So he just didn't have the amount of larvae to make the amount of drones that he wanted. He's kind of caught up now at this point. His injects are nice and well timed. And yeah, here we go once again. So he's really joining up heavily, now making a couple of links. And he's getting a good scout off his opponent's natural. He sees the +1 on the forge. Actually, did he see that? I can't check for sure because I didn't switch fishes in time. I don't think he actually saw the +1 on the forge, but he did see the Twilight Council go up.
Yep, he saw the Twilight Council for sure. That's no doubt about that. Has he seen the third base as well? I don't think so. No, that's the big thing he needs to scout right now. Is the fact that the Protoss is going for third. He's still a little bit in the dark on that factor, and that would make a huge difference. He's also researching roach speed and getting Zergling speed quite late actually, and the crowd's going crazy on the other stream as well.
Yeah, it makes me really wonder what the hell just happened there, but I'm just gonna have to find out later and focus on this game for now.
Or they were really sad that he delayed Zergling speed.
Yeah, well, you won't be able to do a whole lot here at this third base in terms of actual damage, but it's still allowing to maintain map control for now, even though this mothership core is currently bullying those 4 links away. But we do have an early +2 as well as Blink on the way. And are we going to see something crazy from Harstem, like a +3 Blink Stalker timing? That would be really awesome. I've seen that work by Sase. He would do this build and had like the most ridiculously early +3 attack, and the Stalkers would just melt anything that came in their way.
Yep, well, we do have Hydra upgrades on the way and Roach upgrades, so if he's going to go for that, I don't know about it, to be honest. I think that's pretty hardcore counter by Hydras, right?
The thing about Stalkers is, assuming he's going to go mass Stalker because he's adding on a whole lot of gateways, is that they're good versus everything, but they're certainly not the best versus everything, If you max out on Stalkers, you can deal with everything, but you can't deal with everything in the most optimal way you kind of wanted to, like with a hard counter. They're just kind of a soft counter to most units. They can deal with air, they can deal with ground. But if you get surrounded with mass ling or something like that, it's a tough pickle to make. But it looks like it's going to be a +2 Blink timing here from Harstem.
Yeah, but he's having such good scouts with the Phoenixes flying over. Just using a little bit of center energy, knowing exactly what's going on for the entire game, giving good reads. And once again, it looks like AGS is going to go for the quick hive, just like he did earlier against Melle.
Here comes the attack from Harstem.
Yeah, here we go.
A couple of Hydras there in front, but are they going to get forced still enough? No, it looks not. Harstem actually has the equal amount of Stalkers than his opponent has Hydras. and has both armies are pretty much maxed. I mean, pretty well matched, but it's really going to come down to the force fields in this engagement. I feel +2 has, of course, finished by now. So has Blink. We see another weapon at the front, and this is going to prompt the attack in from Arston.
Yep, nice concave actually by ATS right here,
Oh,
but a
great force
lot
fields.
of stalkers, good force fields, good time warps also, Jeroen. And you know what? This is looking really good for Arsenal right
Yeah,
now.
he doesn't have the concave in his engagement, but his Blink micro is, it's just so good with the +2 damage. These Hydras are just melting to the Stalker army, and GG!
Oh, GG
Fnatic
for Arsenal.
Harstem takes the first game here straight away with a very good timing attack. Wow. This is the kind of thing I meant when I said Harstem, he's going to go into this map with a plan. He had a plan, he executed it, boom, he's up 1-0.
I don't know. I have a feeling Harstem is growing in this tournament, playing better every game. And I know he lost to Red in the finals, right, in the winners bracket.
Yep.
Who knows what he can do if he wins this game and faces him again? Maybe he'll be out for blood after that. But he looks really strong right now.
Yeah, that was very well executed. And the Twilight Council, you can't, if you see a Twilight Council, you can't automatically assume your opponent's going to be doing that. You might as well go for something like DTs, which is why there were spores at the third. And you could see TGS, he was kind of in the dark. He didn't really know what was going to happen. He was trying to feel around, but didn't get a whole lot of sense. It was just making Ling Hydra. Maybe sacrificing his third would have been a better option, but it's a tough call to make.
Really tough call to make, but Harstem played that game very good. I think one of the big tells though was that the Zerg did not know about that third base. He was expecting a two base all in push kind of style, but eventually he had more stuff because he was just mining more stuff.
Don't you mean the Protoss?
The Protoss, yeah,
Okay.
the Protoss, yeah.
Because he did see. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the Zerg did not know about the third base.
Yeah, that's true. He did scout it eventually though with the
but
links, but
way too late.
yeah, it was kind of late though. His scout. We're just gonna wait for Harstem. He's currently rebooting his PC. Clearly, whatever he's suffering from didn't prevent him from winning that game previously. Though.
Yeah,
Might have been,
apparently he had some graphical issues.
Yeah. But he's gonna be back any second now because we got some really fat ass, well pimped out PCs here from Paraditchin, and Cooler Master also hooking us up with a lot of gear. So we got the gear, and well, he's already rejoined the lobby, so he's probably just restarting the game rather than the PC, I think.
Yep, we're gonna head up into the next game quite soon. It's gonna be on Whirlwind, one of the bigger maps of the map pool, of course. I like seeing Whirlwind actually.
Yeah,
it's
a
a nice
cool map.
A lot of options. Usually, so people go macro game there, no surprise. But we have seen that in the majority of the games today, so doesn't surprise me at all.
One thing I really like from Harstem is that he doesn't default to Stargate tech. We saw Melle do that a lot. We saw other Protoss players do that a lot. And Harstem, he just went for this, very heavy ground-based army, and just took his opponent out with great control, great engagement, and just straight up outplayed his opponent. There's nothing really I have to say. They both took a heavy macro lead, and from there on, it's really what you do with it is what makes the difference.
Yep, it is, and the game is loading. After that, we will once again go into the game art part of the series.
So yeah, game art once again giving us some great interfaces for us and our viewers here to enjoy. Really appreciated the effort that goes into this.
Definitely, and not just that, I think the things on the stream by the DSCL look great as well today. They put a lot of effort in making it look as good as possible. And with having my face on it as well, it's hard, of course, to make that acceptable. But they did a very good job. So
well, your team has a logo in game art, so that's pretty good, all right?
Yeah, actually, we had a logo in there as well. It was really cool. I see the logo from Fnatic as well. So really good stuff. Looks like the players are ready, and then we're gonna start the countdown. And the beautiful interface that is the countdown on the map Whirlwind. We don't have a lot of people in the lobby lounge, but maybe they can make some noise for the Dutch guy that's winning here.
Hopefully we will.
First off, we're gonna introduce the suite. This game suck. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner. Wyman, you're gonna get more applause, I think. Take it away.
Who knows? Here in the top right, we have the blue Protoss from Team Fnatic, currently up 1-0. It's the Dutchman, Fnatic's Harstem.
Alright, it looks like the Dutchies are definitely favorite this day. And I can imagine that very much so.
Who could have possibly expected that to happen at the Dutch StarCraft League offline finals in The Hague?
I know, right? I don't know, but it's not gonna get more Dutch than this. If Fnatic Harstem goes to the final right here, Not to mention it's an all Dutch cost right now, so that's pretty cool.
It is. I do kind of have to say, I think it's really cool that both of these players' parents are currently here right now.
Yep.
It really makes it look like more of an actual sporting event.
It is.
Because, that's who doesn't show up to their kids when they're playing high level sports.
I've seen them all day. Every time I've been casting a game of Hearthstone, their parents have been cheering for me as well. Been very nice also. So
Well, that's
thank
nice
you
of
so
them.
much.
All right. So in terms of strategy, we have Harstemir with the bottom on the low ground. And the question is he going to throw down a Forge or a Nexus? Well, if you're looking at his mineral count, it could still be either. He's currently passing 150 minerals, so it looks like he once again feels safe going for that Nexus first. And the thing is, for TGS, he's spawning relatively close, and his Overlord is going in the perfect direction in order to scout this. So he has the opportunity to make something work here if he wants to.
Yeah, it's still a longer distance than the last map, I think, to walk over, but he can definitely